Mats Johansson of Axewitch. Welcome to 69 Faces of Rock. How are you doing today?
I'm fine, thank you. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good.
Yeah.
How did you first get interested in music?
Well, it's 12 years old. My brother played guitar and asked me to join the band. That's why.
So there was no other reason to start playing drums other than your brother.
Yeah, my brother's fault.
We'll blame him for that. Um,
Yeah,
in the early 80s, what was your local music scene like locally?
there wasn't any.
Mhm.
Not much.
So you basically invented everything as you went along.
Yeah.
Mhm. How did you discover heavy metal? Or was it also because of your brother?
No, my sister, who is 6 years older than me,
Mhm.
was into Sabbath and Deep Purple, Montrose. So I grew up with that kind of stuff.
That makes sense. How did Axewitch form?
First of all, it was Magnus, guitar player, and the singer Anders, who started a band, and me and my brother was in another band.
Okay.
And Magnus worked at the music store and used to hang around there. And Anders and I got together, and they were looking for a drummer. So I said, "Okay, I play the drums if my brother can play the guitar." So
So
Anders started doing the vocals instead.
it was a package deal.
Yeah. Mhm.
So when the two band were combined, what did you want to be like?
We didn't. I don't know really. We just started to play, and Magnus, who is born as a hard rocker, had some riffs, and we just started to jam.
Perhaps maybe I should ask, what were your influences at that time?
The early stuff, Sabbath, Purple, Thin Lizzy.
Mhm. So when you started to jam, after a while, what did that begin to sound like?
Salad like Axewitch. No, we were influenced by mostly English bands, I guess.
That makes sense because that influence is very present in the early recordings. Uh,
Yeah.
how did you come up with the name Axwitch? Because it's not a word.
No, it was a friend of Magnus called Christian, and they were in London, and we were looking for a name for the band.
Mhm.
And he suggested axe, like a guitar, axe, which sounded heavy, they
Mhm.
thought.
And who came up with your logo? Because that was also very specific.
I don't know, you mean the Old English stuff?
Yeah.
Or, yeah, we thought it was a little bit doom kind of thing,
Mhm.
I guess. Uh, Gothic. Uh,
So when you started actually becoming a band, did you first do a demo or did you right away record the EP?
You know, we did the demo, and we were in what do you call it, a competition, music competition, and we took the second place, and we got the opportunity to record it, and we did, and it ended up with the EP
Mhm.
that we financed ourselves.
So is the demo the same thing as the EP pretty much?
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm.
Uh, what can you tell me about the recording process? I mean, what was it like? All of a sudden, these brand new young kids find themselves in a recording studio.
It was a small studio with eight
Mhm.
channels, and we did in a few days, I guess. And then we went to Stockholm and sold that EP and got ourselves a record deal because of that.
Mhm. And the EP we're talking about, it is Pray for Metal right there, right?
Yeah, yeah.
What can you tell me about the songs on this release?
I have to look at it myself.
All right.
I have it here. I don't really know. It just came up with some heavy stuff, some riffs,
Mhm.
like we always do, riff-based music.
How did it do for you? How did people react to a new band at that time?
In Linköping, we were quite big. We were one of the only bands. It was we and Minor Sinner and a couple of more. And we were playing around Östergötland, the county that we live in.
Did you get any feedback from countries outside of Sweden? Because I mean, the EP was pretty much all over the place after a while.
Yeah, when we got the record deal, we sold this album to import-export company called Record Pool, and they distributed all over the world. So we got lots of response from the whole world.
How did you react on getting this recognition throughout the world?
We didn't know actually how much we sold because the record company didn't tell us, and we didn't get paid. So
that's a pretty common story.
yeah.
So by 1983, you did Lord of the Flies, your first full-length album.
Yeah.
Can you tell me about the writing of this material and recording of this material?
That was the first time we got into a big recording studio in Stockholm. It was like a spaceship for us, 17, 18-year-old. And we only had 14 days, I guess. And we had a producer, and we didn't sound very, very good. So we had to do it on and on again. And after a while, Anders and myself went to another studio, and he recorded the vocals.
So at the end of the day, were you happy with that album?
Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much. It was heavy songs, I guess. But we didn't play that well, so yeah.
And how did that album do for you, sales-wise, popularity-wise?
It was a success, I guess. We sold many copies.
Was there ever a chance of you getting outside of Sweden upon this album?
Not at that time. We did a Swedish tour, 83, with 2 other bands. That was the biggest thing we ever did.
How would you describe your shows back then? Like your concerts. What were your concerts like back then?
The concerts. Yeah, it was pretty much the occult thing. We were into Satan stuff a bit, just for fun. It wasn't a satanic band, but we did the pentagrams and all that thing.
Did you get in trouble with authorities because of that at all?
No, but there was a crazy priest here in Linköping who burned our records and told bad things about us.
Oh boy. And again, I've heard stories like that before. And trust me, pretty much most of the bands that had that type of image, it was all imaginary, nothing serious to it.
No, it wasn't.
Yeah. So a year later, right? Year later, you actually did another album, Visions of the Past, right?
Yeah.
Pretty much maintain the same image here. So how did things go from Lord of the Flies to Visions? What kind of progression are we talking about here?
This one is more, would you say, 80 stuff, 80 sound. The Lord of Flies is more like 70 heavier, I think. And this one is more pop, hard rock pop style.
What reactions and feedback did you get from your audiences?
I think most of the people like Lord of Flies better, but we got more people bought this album than the first one.
I remember seeing that album in the import sections a lot, so I know it was a very popular one, and that's how I came across it, actually.
Okay.
Yeah. So what happens next? Because there's like a breakup. The few members leave, including yourself. So what went wrong?
Me and my brother got sacked, and they took in another singer at the time. Actually, Christer from Minor Sinner were pretty much into it in a way that. So I just broke up.
What did you do musically at that point, you and your brother?
We started recording studio, and myself, my brothers quit playing, and I actually played with Anders, the singer, and we did some we call it more progressive music, more pop metal, maybe.
That makes sense. Now, Axewitch continued. They did this album, Hooked on the High Hills, but you could see already a different image, different logo, different title, and looking at the picture, that would never fly with the old previous two releases.
No.
So, have you followed the band even though you were not in it?
Yeah, we were friends, and they did demos at our studio.
Okay, so there was a connection. What was your opinion on the album they did without you?
That album, actually, we did a demo for just before they recorded it, and we got fired. So I played those songs.
Okay.
In the demo.
Yeah.
But when the album came out, they didn't know about the logo or the cover. So that one is the ugliest cover in Swedish metal. Probably.
Is that something the record label did on their own without the band?
Yeah. Yeah.
Did they ever think of changing it and kind of bringing it back to what it should be?
No, the record company was a crappy company.
Now, as far as those releases, do you still have control over those albums? Are you able to make them available again?
No, not the master tapes, but we got digital from LPs and CDs to.
Yeah.
So okay.
After Hooked on High Heels, the band broke up. Do you know what led to the breakup?
It was only one person from the original band, and they formed another group called Sleazy Rose and continued to play a bit.
What were the other members doing while Axewitch was inactive?
As I said, Anders and myself played a lot, and then we just stopped playing.
Did you expect Axewitch would be back 20 years later?
No, I didn't. It was just a fun thing that came up. If we would like to play at a motorcycle club, it was supposed to be one gig, but after that, Sweden Rock called us up and wanted us to play, so there we were again.
Were you surprised there was still a lot of interest in the band?
Yeah, a bit, yeah.
So what was it like to get back with the guys and kind of renew the friendships and start playing again?
Yeah, we have always been friends and got together with family-wise and like that. So playing was fun.
The only member who didn't come back was your original bass player, right?
Yeah,
Tony, right? So what happened to Tony? How come he didn't want to participate?
He moved to Philippines.
Oh, I guess that explains it.
Yeah, but he's back in Linköping now. So.
Oh, so the chance of an appearance, right?
Yeah.
So how did it feel to play those festivals again? You back? What was going on through your heads?
That was really fun. We haven't played that big audience before, so that was success.
In fact, it was so much fun. You didn't stop there. You went on to write some new songs. Tell me about that.
Yeah, we did Out of the Ashes Into the Fire, but it took a lot. Yeah, that one. It took almost 8 years because we were building a new recording studio at the time, and we had to learn the digital recordings as well. So that's why. And we changed bass player.
Um, so what was Out of the Ashes, once again, like musically? How much of the old spirit was there, in your opinion?
I think that's more like the first album, Lord of Lies, more that kind of thing, I guess.
I have to agree. Although up until recently, I was not even aware you were an active band again, and you released that. So
Yeah,
I'm taken by surprise. I just listened to this on the internet, and it's mind blowing. I printed this cover out just to kind of have it available, but in many ways, to me, that is like the new age of Axewitch, that definite recording.
yeah,
Okay.
I agree.
What feedback and response did you get from your all-time fans, and probably got some new fans with it too?
They really liked it. That one is more focused on the chorus and vocal stuff than we did before. So I think that's much better.
Were you able to play any shows after the release of Out of the Ashes?
We have played a few, actually. Muskelrock, bland annat. Muskelrock, and we did a gig here in Linköping.
Mhm. It seems like you only have played some of like festival appearances and local shows. Is there any chance of you doing a tour, or is that kind of out of question because people have commitments and jobs and whatnot?
Yeah. We have talked with Christer Milesinus lots of times. Maybe we should do a Swedish tour, but let's see if that happens.
Um, are you happy with how things have turned out since you reunited?
Yeah, we are not that active actually, but we play, and we if the opportunity comes up, we do a gig, but we don't mind if it doesn't.
Well, funny you should say, because I was just with a Swedish death metal band called Dismember, and I told them, "Oh, I'm gonna be speaking with Axewitch on Sunday." And like, "Well, we love Axewitch, but we didn't even know that they were, an active band." I'm like, "Yeah, they are. They're still doing things, and they have some new things up their sleeve."
Nowadays, you have to be more active on the internet, on the Facebook and everything, and we're a bit lazy
Yeah.
doing that.
Well, I'm sure doing this interview that changes things too.
Hopefully,
Um, in addition to the new album, you did some re-recordings of your old songs, right? The last.
yeah,
What can you tell me about this project?
was more like a fun thing to do, to re-record everything, because when we did the recordings, we weren't that good at playing, so we thought it would be a good thing, and new sound, new bass player, and focus on the song a bit more.
Mhm. It also seems like with this record, you kind of went the full circle. You're back as a band. You've done some old tracks. You pretty much back with the same people you started out with what one
Yeah,
of that's very impressive. So how much time are you able to devote to Axewitch nowadays?
not much really. Once a week, and then we have to do some stuff on the internet, maybe. So it's not much.
At this point, what's next for you?
We right now we are doing new stuff, which should end up to be recorded as 2025, I think.
Definitely a new
So
coming.
yeah, definitely.
Can you tell me about the tracks that you are writing now?
We are a bit split decisions about the tracks, because some of them are more heavy stuff and some are more rock kind of thing. So we have to decide which way we should go on.
Wow, that definitely is a big decision to make.
Yeah. Mm.
Um, are there still any musical goals that you guys would like to achieve that maybe you never got a chance to achieve back in the 80s?
Yeah, it would be nice to do a festival outside of Sweden, maybe somewhere.
Any chance of perhaps making an appearance in the United States at any of the festivals?
If the opportunity comes up, then we have to see what happens.
Excellent.
Mm.
So end of the day, when you look back at all the things you've done with Axewitch, what stands out to you?
The first tour, Swedish tour we did, the catastrophic tour with 2 other bands, that was epic.
It's funny that you say catastrophic, yet you had so much fun.
Yeah, it was a tour with 2 other bands. One was Torch and one was Silver Mountain. And it was so cold in the bus, so we had to sit with the sleeping bags.
What a lineup. I would have loved to have seen Torch and Silver Mountain and yourselves that time.
Yeah, it was fun. It was
Yep.
fun. But we didn't get paid. We didn't have any to eat. It was a catastrophe tour.
When I listen to bands talk about the old days, barely anybody got paid,
No,
no matter what country they're from.
yeah. So always someone else who wants to earn the money.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
it needs to be seen as to who. Well, thank you so much for speaking with me. And thank you for giving me all this background information about what happened with Axewitch and what's happening now, and everything.
Yeah, thank you.